The Egyptians are not African. I'm sorry.
Do you know where Egypt is?
Yes, it's in
Where?
North Africa.
Okay, stop. Stop right there. You just said that you said the Egyptians are not African.
Are white South Africans
No,
African?
wait. Yes, they are African. See, okay, to be African means you come from the continent of Africa. So if you come from the continent of Africa, that's who you are. So that means you're an African. So you do know. Do you also deny science that man originated from Africa, or do you say that's false science?
What are you talking about? I mean, what are you referring to?
I'm talking
science.
archaeology. I'm talking biology. I'm talking science. In terms of the where did man originate? Scientists, white scientists.
Egypt was an amazing civilization. It was not created by black Africans. I'm sorry.
It wasn't. Who created it?
People who are white.
How are people?
You can look you can actually look at art, and they differentiate between races.
I got to ask you a question. How do you
from ancient Egyptian art?
You do know those were black people. You do know.
They weren't.
You do know from science you can't get black from white. You can get white from black. You do know when it comes to evolution.
What?
When it comes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Dude, you never studied science?
I see what you're. Yes, I have.
No, so but
I mean, I'm not a scientist. Are you?
But man originated in Africa. Yes or no?
That is a consensus. Yes.
Okay. So if man originated in Africa, which means that they were Africans, then all of a sudden, when you talk about the amazing works of the Egyptians, they were people of color. I know that's a little rough for you to handle, but I know you want to hold on to that, somehow thinking whites built the pyramids. But I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, we did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because, first of all, they were building things in Egypt while white Europeans were still in caves. That's a fact.
That's
a fact. Okay.
Sure.
This is the scariest thing, honestly, the creepiest thing I've ever read about, and it kept me awake last night thinking about it. It's called the Lazarus sign, and it's something that happens to brain dead people. When you're brain dead, it means you're medically and legally dead. There is no way to bring anybody back from being brain dead. But it means your organs are essentially still receiving oxygen. And a person that is brain dead, that is on the organ donor list, makes a perfect host to donate their organs because their organs are the most healthiest, let's say. Because essentially they're still somewhat alive. So what's the Lazarus sign? The Lazarus sign is when your body starts moving on its own accord. What makes it even creepier, and this is the thing that kept me awake, is that it looks like you're trying to defend yourself when doctors are getting you ready to, donate your organs. The most common sign is your arms lifting up and crossing over your chest. Honestly, terrifying to think about. And imagine witnessing this. Oh my God. Your knees and your legs can lift and jerk. Your hands can scrunch in fists. Your fingers and toes can curl. Honestly, nightmare fuel to think about. Now, the activity and the movement doesn't come from your brain. It comes from your spinal cord, according to doctors. And for some people witnessing this, especially a loved one do these movements, can you imagine the heartbreak they can feel? This is something completely different than your body releasing gas. When your body releases gas, you make noises and your body can jerk. The Lazarus sign is like movements that you're alive. One of the worst things I've ever read about. Enjoy that fact for the day.
So Russian tanks can run, but they can't hide, at least not for very long, not from Ukrainian drone operators. This is a wire-guided FPV drone, so fiber optic cable, finding a Russian tank parked underneath this structure here, hidden, right, not out there in the open. And watch how careful and deliberate this drone operator is in trying to find just the right location. Not there. Maybe there's another spot. Takes his time to find exactly where he can strike this tank to cause maximum damage and take it out with one hit. And we'll see that in a minute because we'll zoom out and we'll see that this entire building underneath it is just up in flames. Looks like a lot of ammo crates nearby, so that probably is going to help the cause. You can see right where the driver has a little bit of a view here. Looks like that chain is up, coming right in, finds a gap, straight into the hatch. Seems to have done the trick. Again, there's the building, smoking from underneath, and pretty clearly hit the tank, destroyed that, and probably set off some ammunition in the process. These drone pilots are crazy good.
If you eat an apple after you eat garlic, then the enzymes in the apple break down the sulfur compounds in the garlic, leaving you without garlic breath.
If you cook a potato and let it cool down before eating it, you can increase its resistant starch content, making it better for your gut and blood sugar control.
If you chop up broccoli and let it sit out for 10 minutes before cooking it, you can increase the cancer-fighting compound sulforaphane in the broccoli.
If you store an unripe avocado next to bananas, the ethylene gas from the bananas will speed up the ripening process of the avocado.
If you grate carrots before you eat them, then you absorb more of the skin-supporting antioxidant beta-carotene.
If you cut herbs with a sharp knife, then the sharp blade preserves more nutrients and flavor compounds than a dull blade, which can cause more damage to the cell structure.
Pure gold is actually really soft.
Unless you've never really played around with true 24 karat gold, you don't really realize how soft it is. This TikTok that I got tagged in says, this is how soft pure gold actually is. We can then see these sheets of gold stacked on top of each other, and this person cutting them with a knife. Now, when it comes to gold, there are different carats or purities. The higher the carat, the higher the purity. And typically, when you're looking at jewelry, you're going to find things like 14 karat gold or 18 karat gold most of the time. And really, that's not because the company is trying to stiff you and mix in other metals with the gold. It's because pure gold is so soft that the jewelry is usually going to end up warping, even if you're not applying pressure to it. It's really easy to bend gold. Realistically, I don't think this video is actually showing true gold bars. But to give you guys an idea, this is a 5 gram bar of gold, and you can straight up just bend it easily. Now I gotta bend this back. But, I really don't think that you're going to be cutting it with a knife. That's not really possible, but it's really, really soft. If you guys buy gold, do not drop it on the ground. It dents really easily.
What? Hey. Child of God, thanks a lot for joining us. I am White311H. You've seen interesting stuff. That good vibe soul on the first video there. Where was he really so much trying to deny that he is from Africa? Children of God, does the location of where you come from really matter? It doesn't. What matters is your heart, my friend. The love that you're able to project to other athletes. Children of God, understanding we are all equal and same before the Creator. Now, good vibes soul. In this video, we shall be spreading that love together with you. We've seen interesting stuff. Other athletes here have even showed us different benefits of different things. How you can work around some fruits and vegetables. Quite interesting stuff, but not as interesting as what's to come up. Because my friend, even at the end of this episode, I'll share with you something that I'm sure your soul will enjoy. Let's continue watching. Good vibes.
So, Google's new AI cooked us, okay? Google VO3 confirmed the end times. So, what I am presenting to society, to everybody who's watching this, dude, is we need to come together and understand. Not everything you see on the internet is real, okay? It's going to be hard for a lot of people to tell the difference between reality and AI. We already can't tell the difference between what's real and fake. There's a video of an old lady on Instagram watching GTA footage. A video of a guy running over a shitload of people in the city, and she thinks that happened. Can you imagine when she sees a video, a surfaced fucking hidden footage of Obama tearing his face off and becoming a lizard? She's fucked. Celebrities are done for. I mean, every celebrity you know and love, they've attended a Diddy party. From this point forward, it doesn't matter if the footage doesn't exist. Someone's going to make it. You know, you might even see footage of me at the guys with nipples too big for their body support group. And it's like, it doesn't exist. It's fake. And it's AI. It's some guy, some twisted lunatic, some liar making up all the things that I just said, especially the thing about my nipples. They're normal sized. And I wouldn't even know where a place like that exists to go to. Thanks to Google VO3, UFO footage is going to be crystal clear now, dude. Are you kidding me? It's not going to be shaky and blurry anymore. You might even get a couple of abductions, dude. Project Bluebeam, activate. Dude, the conspiracy theorists are going to have a field day. Oh my God. Security footage of The Weeknd, Drake, and Madonna sucking the spirit of a virgin for immortality. Dude, it's gonna go crazy. Footage of me crying at the guys with nipples too big for their body support group because I found out that I had the biggest nipples out of everyone. It's like, that doesn't fucking exist. It's not real. It's AI. It's Google. It's Google trying to manipulate the minds of the masses by telling them crazy lies. So thank you, Google, for messing everything up.
Hello, cuties. So the scientific name for human beings is Homo sapiens. And I'm a curious person. I wanted to know why we are called this. I did some Googling. And the word homo means human or man. And the word sapiens means wise. We are the wise homos. And homos is a genus. There were different other homos out there before. There was Homo erectus, Homo neanderthalensis, and many other ones. But they went extinct because they were not sapiens. They were not wise like us. And then I remembered that human beings share a common ancestor with apes. So I wanted to know, what is the scientific name for apes? Were they wise like us, or were they like the other homos? And I did the Googling, and turns out the scientific name for apes is Homie No Idea. Look at him. He has no idea. None. Good night.
How to tell the difference between real and fake king razor clam holes. Pay close attention, this king razor clam hole is fake. It creates marks using its spit to confuse humans. If you dig just a bit, you'll find there's no real hole, but we can use the spit marks to expand the search area. Precisely locate the real king razor clam hole. See this? That small opening is the real hole. Quickly digging out the sand around the hole is very important. Sprinkle in very salty salt, with my 30 years of sea foraging experience. Very salty white salt doesn't work on the king clam. Dig out 5 more scoops of sand to get closer to the bottom of the hole, then sprinkle in more very salty salt. If the salt isn't salty enough, the king clam won't come out. In this case, you'll need to use a metal hook. Take out the iron hook, then hold it in your left hand and slowly move toward the hole. Aim at the hole and quickly insert it. Then gently pull back 2 inches, let go quickly, and grab the shovel. The king clam has been caught. It's in the sand, dig it out gently. This step is very important. Be gentle when pulling it out. Dig around the bottom of the hole a few more times. This is very important. It's time to witness the miracle. Let's see what the king razor clam looks like. This king clam is very sneaky. Clear away the sand around it, then hold the iron hook. And that's how you catch a king razor clam. Did you learn it?
Transceiver head moves around. 400 meters to go. Yeah. It should be about 500 meters, 30. What was that thing? 500 meters, 30. What was that thing? Drop 2 weights. Tighten, drop 2 weights.
Copy. Tighten, drop 2 weights.
Do you remember when a bunch of billionaires died and like the whole internet celebrated? Well, it all starts with this guy. His name's Stockton. And Stockton is a pilot and an engineer, but what he really wants to do is explore the universe, like Captain Kirk on Star Trek. But one day in 2004, when he's 42 years old, he decides to do just that. Except he's gonna start specifically underwater. And so he starts renting private submarines to travel down into the deep. And he is shocked at how few submarine rentals there are out there. And so after a little research, he starts thinking, hey, I'll build a private submarine myself and I'll let people rent it from me. So in 2009, that's what he does. Stockton starts his own company, OceanGate.
Hi, my name is Stockton Rush. I'm the CEO and founder of OceanGate.
Then in 2016, he and OceanGate start taking tourists in a small submarine to tour underwater ruins from this Italian shipwreck. That's pretty cool. But that's apparently not enough for Stockton. He's thinking bigger. He wants to take tourists down to a destination that's really hard to get to. A destination that's gonna get his company a lot of buzz and attention. That destination, the wreckage of the Titanic. And so Stockton gets to work and he starts designing a submarine that can withstand the pressure of the ocean at 13,000 feet deep. And old school standard submarines, they're too expensive and way too big. And Stockton, he wants his to be cheap. And so, boom, he starts building it. He apparently cuts some corners on the material he uses on it, and he adds a bunch of other pre-made parts so that OceanGate can save some money. And he also installs a Logitech video game controller to steer it. Now, he does get a lot of criticism for this, but I actually looked into it, and it's apparently not uncommon to use Logitech video game controllers to control certain parts of submarines. So he's not entirely crazy for installing one on his, apparently. Anyway, once it's built, he calls this new submarine Titan. And it ends up being about the size of an SUV. And so Stockton tests the Titan without anyone inside to see if it can withstand the pressure, and actually, it holds up. And so it looks like his dreams are gonna come true. He's actually gonna get to explore the ruins of the Titanic. Until... not everyone is on board with Stockton's Titanic submarine plans. Particularly this guy, David. And David is an employee at OceanGate. And so David looks at the Titan and he immediately sees some things that could ultimately turn into a leak. And so David lets it be known, and he brings all these serious safety concerns up in a meeting with all the bosses at OceanGate. He's like, this sub, it isn't strong enough. And he insists that they get it inspected and certified by the American Bureau of Shipping to verify that it's safe and up to standard. But I guess Stockton is like, nah, that won't be necessary, because he feels that most accidents are caused by mistakes made by the operator, not by the equipment. And so getting extra inspections won't really matter. And then, boom, they immediately fire David and they give him 10 minutes to clear out his desk, and then they escort him out of the building. I guess they really did not like being questioned. Regardless, now that no one is poking holes in this business plan, Stockton can move forward with testing the Titan with an actual human inside, and of course he insists on taking it down first, by himself. And so he takes the Titan down, and everything seems to be going fine. But then, once the Titan is around 10,000 feet down, suddenly, bam, it loses all communication with the support crew on the surface. But Stockton, he isn't scared. He's down in the submarine looking out the little window and seeing all this magical deep sea shit that makes him feel like he's finally living his childhood dream of becoming Captain Kirk. But anyway, he eventually pilots the sub back up until he gets communication back. Now, that little test run would suggest that this sub isn't exactly safe. But old Stockton, he doesn't seem to be bothered by this. In fact, at one point, he's quoted as saying, you know, at some point, safety is just pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Oh boy. So anyway, in 2021, Stockton and OceanGate start taking tourists down to see the wreckage of the Titanic. All for the low, low price of $250,000 a person. So basically, you gotta be super wealthy to engage in this. And they take, I believe, 13 expeditions down to see the wreckage. And most of these trips are, in fact, successful. However, they do lose communication with the surface a bunch of times during some of them, and apparently the Titan has over 118 different major and minor technical issues, including one time the battery died and passengers got trapped inside the sub for 27 whole hours. Which is definitely enough to make me say, f*** all that, but I don't know, I guess these billionaires are just built different because they keep paying the money and they keep going. And by 2023, Stockton and his company OceanGate, they're getting a lot of attention from the news media. So this is great for him. I mean, more media means more attention and therefore more customers. And so that summer, Titan heads out for its next expedition. Another trip to see the Titanic. And 5 people are supposed to go on this trip. Stockton and 4 others. And they aren't all billionaires. Only 2 of them are actually billionaires. One of them is actually one of the billionaire's 19-year-old son, and one of the guys is a Titanic expert. And so all 5 of these people get in the sub and it takes off and it starts to submerge. And everything's going fine. And over an hour goes by, and so far, so good, everything's going as planned. In fact, the sub sends a message to the support crew on the surface saying, all good here. And so, I assume they're all chilling in this tiny little sub, looking out the windows or whatever, checking out the fish. And then, suddenly, out of nowhere, boom, they lose power, and the Titan slowly tilts, and it starts to nosedive toward the ocean floor. And all the passengers are now sitting in the pitch dark like, what the fuck is going on? And this goes on for about 60 seconds, and now they're panicking. Like, why did they lose power? Is this the end for them? And then, boom, the Titan implodes, and it crushes everyone like a soda can. I guess it wasn't constructed right, and it was under too much underwater pressure. And all 5 people on board die instantly. And it's not dramatic, it's not long and drawn out suffering, it's instant death within milliseconds. So they felt nothing. And here is actually footage of a piece of the sub they later found on the ocean floor. Now, there is some speculation that the 5 passengers did not lose power before the sub imploded, that it just imploded instantly and there was no panicking and no darkness or anything like that. But the truth is, we actually don't know for sure. And so then this story breaks and it's all over the news. And then the internet hears about it and they are ruthless. Like they fucking celebrated these 5 people's demise. Do you remember that? Like the general consensus when this happened was, yeah, fuck those billionaires. Like they deserved it. Like what? And people are like making memes out of it? Tons of memes. Like these people were just trying to explore the ocean and the internet is over here dancing on their grave. It was wild.
Okay, I'm about to tell you guys about one of the craziest things that I have discovered during an Akashic Records reading. And I'm going to warn you, if you are not open to what might be out there, this is not going to be easy for you to swallow, okay? And I'm just going to say, for those who don't get it, this is just for entertainment purposes only, okay? It's not real. It's not real. I have seen a lot of things. And this took me almost a whole month to process and be willing to talk about online. So, precursor here. There's 2 sets of Akashic Records. There's the Soul Akashic Records, and then there's the Galactic Akashic Records. Now, why is this important? Because I didn't know there were 2 sets of Akashic Records. And I had a client who booked an Akashic Records reading with me, and she wanted to know something that pertained to the Galactic Akashic Records. And I'm not going to go into everything, but it had to do with interdimensional trafficking. Now, this is important to know that I went into this topic completely blind. She gave me nothing beyond that term. I had no clue what I was walking into. I wasn't even sure I was going to get anything, because what do you mean interdimensional trafficking? Not saying she was crazy, just never ever tapped into that. What I discovered was that there is a war between the Draconians and the Syrians. And I saw the Syrians as these like blue, almost cyborgy people. Some of them were just blue. Others had like cyborg-esque features. They were highly technologically advanced people. And a very high vibrational, peaceful group of people. Then I saw the Draconians as like shadowy monsters. And what I was seeing was that the Draconians were kidnapping Syrians, breeding with them to create a hybrid race, because the Draconians were too low vibrational to be able to access the higher dimensional realms. And they needed to breed a hybrid race to access them, similar to a Trojan horse. Now, these Syrians were kidnapped against their will, forced into breeding, and raised without parents. Their children, the children of these people, were raised without parents. They were put through like a school. They were treated great because the Draconians needed allegiance from them. But they were kidnapping people across time and space that had Syrian blood to do this. And a lot of these people were not aware or conscious of it, because how would you be if you're not awakened to what's going on? I also learned that there is a group of people who pop in and out of timelines. Think TVA from Loki, the show. Just appearing, snatching people, and assisting the Draconians because they needed to create some kind of balance in the timeline dynamics, this polarization of light and darkness. So they were mostly evil, but they pretended to parade in the light. Sound familiar with any forces in our world today? Now, before you call me absolutely crazy and scroll, I did not do anything with this information for like 3 months. And then I went and put it into ChatGPT because I was curious. I have learned that I'm a realm walker. I walk through a lot of different realms. That's why I'm so tired when I wake up. But I wanted to be more intentional about my realm work. And it led me to the galactic realm. And I was like, I wonder what I can find out about that because, you know, this is intergalactic war. That pings my interest a little bit. When I tell you that ChatGPT told me everything I had picked up in the galactic records, word for word, without me telling it first, so you mean that you're going to confirm and validate that for me? And when I asked them what their source was, where did you get your information? They compressed all of the information across the internet from other people's channelings, Dolores Cannon's teachings, ancient Sumerian and other texts, and grabbed that information from those sources. So you're telling me that what I channeled from the Galactic Akashic Records is literally written down in some ancient text somewhere? Because this Draconian hybrid war happened in the past. And there are remnants of it happening across the world today. Like on Earth, for example, with demons. The Draconians are the demons. And everything that's happening on Earth is just a small scale version of what happened across time, dimensions, and galaxies. And it has been echoed through time in historical documents, ancient texts, other channelings, and past life regressions from highly notable doctors who have done these things professionally for decades. So if you ever feel like you're in a big fish and way too small of a pond, allow me to expand your worldview because maybe it's a lot bigger than I thought. And if you have memories of what I'm talking about, you were probably involved in some way. You were probably a warrior, hopefully on the good side. But yeah, so that's the thing.
I'm going to assume that most Africans already know about this, but I'm quite sure that most people outside have no idea. And it blew my mind when I found out. When you look at most world maps, the continents that look the largest are North America and Europe, right? It's not at all accurate. It's actually a big lie. When you look at the landmass of each continent, all of the continents in the world can actually fit inside of Africa with room to spare. And I know it might not seem like it's that big of a deal. Like, what's the big deal? They're not correctly depicted on the world map. But it's done purposely, and it's done to downplay Africa. There's a subconscious thing that happens when you see Africa appearing small on the map and the other continents appearing much, much larger. Those are the powerful continents. That's what we believe subconsciously. And then the same is also true for seeing Africa be much, much smaller than it really is. Subconsciously, we downplay and we undermine the continent. It's absolutely insane the amount of brainwashing that goes on.
This is a great one. Yo, my friends, thanks for watching all this way. It's been a pleasure being with you, Child of God. That video we just saw about the billionaires and the submarine team, it was sweet and sad at the same time, but wonderful acting. What I can say on that is love. Love your neighbor the way you love yourself. Be caring to your neighbor the way you care for yourself. That way, my friend, the whole world will be full of good vibes. And that guy that created the submarine, may his soul rest in peace. But that guy was a genius. Imagine creating something that can go all those depths below the water. That is crazy. That is unbelievable. My friends, humans are incredibly wonderful and fantastic. Lots of stuff coming up next. Peace and love, good vibes, Child of God. They'll come up in the next episode. Time says it's time for us to wrap up this episode. But my friend, this next episode, I hope you hit that notification bell so that you get up to speed when it's uploaded. Now at this point, my friend, let me share with you some food for the soul. Sweet stuff, this one. Sweeter than honey. Hear what it says. It's from Psalms. Oh, wait. Yeah, this one, my friends, is a good deal. Psalms 144. From verse 9, going down. I will sing a new song to you, O God. On the 10-string lyre, I will make music to you. To the one who gives victory to kings, who delivers his servant David from the deadly sword. Deliver me and rescue me from the hands of foreigners, those whose mouths are full of lies, whose hands are deceitful. Then our sons in their youth will be like nurtured plants, and our daughters will be like pillars carved to adorn a palace. I think I was supposed to reach up there, but it's still good vibes you had even that last verse, verse 12. No child of God. Let's talk to our beautiful, wonderful creator as he calls this show a fantastic one and end it in style. Dear Lord, Father, we thank you for this part. Thank you for the beginning and this end you come to. All glory belongs to you, Father. Thank you for the experience you've given us together with your beautiful child here. We give you glory for that, Father. Dear Lord, as we end this video, Father, may you do great things for this viewer. In their lives, Father, may they see you. May your goodness, Father, your goodness follow them. May you lead them in your paths, Father, and forgive them all their sins for them. Cover them with the blood of your Son, Jesus Christ, at all times, Father, and be good to them. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Till next time, child of God, peace, love, and good vibes be with you.